Folks, welcome back to the Bravo stream. Here we're on our last match of the night on our Tuesday College COD playoff group coverage. We're looking at OKST versus Iowa State. And Jesse, inside the West Group A, we have so many things to look out. OKST 0-1 going into today, now 1-1 with a big win against Mississippi State. And that win leads us to so many numerous implications.
Yeah, so many actually. Like you said, if you are a fan of having absolute wild nights be finished off by different random outcomes that can happen, well, you're in for a treat here tonight on Bravo stream, because every team right now inside of West Group A has a shot of making it into the playoffs, just depending on how this final match goes. The one thing we do know for certain, Ottawa, obviously, locked in. Oh, yeah. They are secured. They went 9-1 in terms of map count, 3-0 in series count. They are locked in. West Group A has been won by Ottawa. But the bottom three teams, Mississippi, Oklahoma State, and Iowa, all with the shot of being able to make it in. If Iowa takes a 3-0 victory here tonight over Oklahoma, they will qualify because they'll have the head-to-head, they'll have the map count, they will qualify. If Mississippi State University, if Iowa wins 3-1, Mississippi State University will then qualify in because Oklahoma will not have the map count record to be able to beat Minnesota. And then if Oklahoma State University comes out tonight and they take at least 2 maps here in the series, they will be able to qualify second in. So it is just so many different implications.
So many implications. So many things can happen. And this is what gets me excited. This is what gets me giddy inside the playoffs, Jesse. Implications to make it through and upset other teams. But as we take a look at the head-to-head, Jesse, we can really discuss these two teams and how they have made it into these groups throughout the stages. Because both teams, you know, they've had a similar run throughout the College COD 2022 year. A strong stage 1, but a struggle inside of stage 2. Now bringing them into this West Group A.
Yeah, neither team really able to kind of take it to the top dogs inside of their groups. And you can look at their overall records here. Nothing to really be kind of like that hype about. Nothing to be that mad about either. 12-9, 13-7. Definitely 2 respectable records. Nothing great, nothing too poor. But honestly, like you said, very similar stories. And honestly, very similar when you even just look at the overall map counts that they have for themselves. I think maybe the only thing that you really could say is that Iowa has played a lot of their series maybe a lot closer. That's why you see so many more maps played. And Oklahoma State in a lot of their series, outside of the top teams that they lost to, they were able to close out a lot of their teams that are kind of more of the even level against them. They were able to close those series out a lot quicker than Iowa was.
Now, Jesse, moving into the rosters for these two teams, we can really kind of pick apart what we're looking at between them, because this has so many implications that you're really going to be looking at key players to bring out the best in each other's teams. And when you're looking at the whole team for Iowa, you're looking at Ty, Bateman, Crayons, and Freeze trying to get that 3 over a OKST today.
Yeah, and that's really what it needs to be, right, for Iowa. I know we talked about the big implications coming into this, but if Iowa wants to keep the fate into their own hands and they want to qualify for this, it needs to be a 3-0. Plain and simple, that is their only possibility of making it in. And how crazy would that be to come out, you lose your first 2 matches, only win 1 map, but still have a shot because of how things have played out? That's for Iowa here.
It's crazy. That is so crazy, Jesse. And even crazier is that across the board for them, Oklahoma State, they have a chance too. I mean, they just need to win 2 maps into the series to qualify for it. And when we're looking at them, you're looking at Royal, Jinja, Wilkish, and Dakota to make this happen, Jesse. The big question is, do they have what it takes against Iowa State?
It's really what it comes down to, right? Can they clutch up in the biggest of situations? Well, they already have. Their life was in a very poor looking spot because they came into today 0-1 inside of this. Had lost all 3 maps to Ottawa. It really put them on the back foot. But going up against Mississippi earlier on today, they were able to take a 3-1 victory, which has put us in this situation here today. We were a little worried coming into this one, Colin, that we might not have any implications on this match, that it could have just ended up being a match for last place and second last place, I guess, or I guess a top 48 match inside of this. But it is so much more than that now. It really comes down to if you can come out, you can win 2 maps here as Oklahoma State because you clutched up so massively earlier. This is your chance to make the bracket play.
And Jesse, I thought we were coming into this to dance, but we're coming into tango and looking to lead this one of these 2 teams. But when we're looking at the maps, it's quite similar to our first match of the day, actually. You're looking at a Tuscan Hardpoint to lead the way, a Desert Siege for a map 2, Gava 2 control instead of Tuscan, and then a gap of hard point number 4. And to finish this off, Tuscan. So the only difference thing coming through inside the series is going to be that gap of 2 control.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, right? When you think about that, is that we almost have an identical map set to earlier on today, like you were saying. But yeah, when we look at this overall map set, it's one of those map sets where your fundamentals are going to need to be on point between these two teams. And I think that's what we're really going to need to focus between this today. Both these teams have struggled to take down the top dogs, but have played very strong when going up against other teams of, I guess, their own competition, or teams just kind of lesser of the two of them. I'm very excited, honestly, to see who's going to be able to come out between these two teams here tonight.
I mean, similarities aside, we can definitely look at what we saw between our 2 past teams on Tuscan, and it was really, you know, the factor of slaying that really controls this map for your SMGs. See if you can control the points, contest when you're not rotating, rotate early and win those respawns, but it's going to be a question mark to see who will dominate between these two. It's a strong start from Iowa Esports, Jesse. 3 go down, some early time, and you're looking at 88 now to push on forward, and he's on 4 in a row. Hasn't died yet inside the series. You can find streaks right off the rip. That's going to be definitely a fantastic start as he goes 5 in a row, has the help of Crayons, and now a break for the rotation to P2.
Yeah, Bateman with a great start here. Like you said, 5-0, exactly what you want here. Not only do they get a good amount of time here on this P1 hill, they're still getting time on this P1 hill, and they've got the rotations on lock.
Perfect.
Over towards this P2 hill, only 5 seconds left till that hill pops, and you can see player number 3, Ty, is going to make the rotation as well over towards the bottom side. I thought he was going to try to cut off command center, but it will actually be freeze with that opportunity.
Well, Oklahoma State now looking to harness a little bit of that FSU energy, see if they can break from the front, bully their way in, but Bateman already with streaks, Jesse. A flawless start to this game, 7-0, making it 8-0, still tearing up the players over on OKSDs. It's a 40-point lead right off the rip. You do give up the spawns in the back so that Oklahoma State now can flood into the hill. They get the clear. They start collecting some time. But while this is happening, you're getting a double down from Iowa. They want to double back. You see Bateman is going to help Crayons break back into the hill. 24 seconds to pick up Jesse. And it looks like Iowa, they want every drop of it.
Yeah, they do. They make the same mistake that we saw Florida State University make earlier on today, where on the rotation, they just end up pushing it a little bit too far forward, allow the spawns to come through in the back. But a big fight once again goes down. Bateman's going to walk away with full streaks as well off the start of this game, so definitely cannot complain if you're an Iowa Esports fan off the start of this one. You get a 40-point lead. You already have a glide bomb. I believe they just invested it there, though, to try to win this rotation over towards new, and now you're going to have a one-on-one for initial time. You're going to lose it out, and now Oklahoma State looking like they could be in the driver's seat of this map.
That could be a game-winning one-on-one, Jesse. Going the way of OKST now. A chance to flip this lead as they're down by 26. Here comes Iowa for the break, although shut down at the gates by Royal Jinja. Dakota chimes in too, leaving Ty last alive now for Iowa State, and it is flawless so far. Spotting up the players for Iowa State over towards Church, as you're going to get a pinch through the middle of the map and through the northern side of the mini-map, as Freeze will be able to get a trade, leaving this even 3-on-3. Wants to tango into the hills, going to find the break on the inside, but can you get past Wilkish? That's the real question. Crayon's going to make it so. 2 go down. You're going to break in, Jesse, if you're Iowa, but for the last little bit of scrap time.
At the very least, you get that scrap time, right? So you're going to keep a small little lead here as you head over towards new. Big fight in the back here between player 6 and player 1, and it's going to be Dakota that comes out on top. Ty will find the trade, so might be able to flip these spawns out, but I don't think he's got enough of a presence here to do so. No, he won't. So it's going to be continuing to be Oklahoma State with those spawns up in the back, and they're actually doing a great job of zoning out all these Iowa players right now. Nobody able to get close to the hill. They get the only player who was lurking, and now all focus pushes to the forward portion of this hill, and you could really kind of get a good amount of time here if you're Oklahoma State.
I think the heat that Jinja took there, Jesse, he knew that the fight was from the front, but Iowa State, they flood their way in. They bully their way in, and a stabilization from OKST for sure, but Iowa, they want to maintain this lead. As you can see, Bateman trying to play for the rotations over to P5, still inside the hill. Crayons collecting that time until he gets broken by Royal. And as you get 3 down from Oklahoma State, it's really going to pan our attention over towards the Maps Hill. Well, you got Oklahoma State residing with 2 players, number 8 and 6.
Yep, heading over to command center. Crayons, first player to drop through the top, but it's not going to work out for them right off the rip here. But they do finally end up finding the last players on his team come through. They get the trades all out into their favor. And Iowa, I mean, they were looking so great off the start of this game, but ever since that glide bomb came through, it's really given Oklahoma a chance to really bring themselves back into this one. And they've done a great job of kind of just storming the hill and taking this game back into their favor.
Yeah, only a 3-point lead now, flipped on its head. Oklahoma State looking to push this lead. Jinja 2 in a row. Royal on 4 in a row of his own. And with this big 4 down, you can see Iowa Esports now trying to work their way through the middle of the map. You're going to have a pinch to overthrow P2, although look at the map control coming out from Oklahoma. Royal over the top of Well will be able to find one down low. Tries to get into the hill, though. Iowa Esports making it scrappy. Bateman holding on strong for Iowa Esports, looking for that scrap time, as now back on the rotation. We're going to our second set.
Bateman 16-8 to start this game off, needs some help. Let's not forget here, Iowa needs to win every single map in this series. They need a 3-0 if they want to qualify for bracket play. They need a 3-0 victory here. And so far, after a tie game through the first set of rotations, Oklahoma State will be the first team to be able to get a good chunk of time here in our second set. Iowa, they're going to be trying to break this from the front.
Trying to break it from the front. Far haven't been able to make that happen. Crayons on the flank here. Dakota's gonna sniff it out, and you lose out on the flank. Oh, suddenly Iowa Esports, no avenue into the hill. Bateman looking to make a last-ditch effort. However, Oklahoma State denying Iowa of the break, Jesse, and they want even more. Dakota's on the case for the rotations. They've completely flipped out Iowa.
Yeah, Dakota can play spoiler here. Will take down Bateman, has a one-on-one with Freeze as well, just backs up to play their life for a small bit of time here, but this works out perfectly because you get reinforcements to come in. You can reinforce the hills even more, and Iowa gets flipped out. Once again, it's a perfect, flawless rotation from Oklahoma State from P1 to P2, and they want to bury Iowa as quickly as possible.
Some kind of fire, Jesse, lit inside of them after that slow start that we saw, almost 70 points down. And now Oklahoma State 70 points up. Dakota on a 5 spree. These streaks will be huge. You just need 2 more kills. Coming in is going to be Freeze, 6 in a row. Looking to get out with his life. Bateman hunts him down. Canceling out that glide bomb. And Iowa Esports, they find the break on in, though. This is the hard part. You get the last 30 seconds, Jesse. You need to get to Fountain. As Oklahoma State, they're in a position where they can really pinch them out into this Hill 2 and solidify the respawns over to Hill 3.
Yeah, if you're Iowa here, I'm surprised that you're not seeing these 2 players at Church start to fly out. Here they go now into middle of the map. They want to try to flip these spawns. They want to try to get out, and they don't completely flip them. As you can see, it's just a foot race now. Both teams trying to get everybody over towards this new hill, and Jinja's going to have a big one-on-one to try to solidify these spawns.
Gonna win it out too. Freeze expects Crayons up top. Jinja doing it all. Coming alive, 18 and 17. 1 positive, but some huge kills on the rotation. 4 in a row. You still don't have the spawns. It's scrappy in the back line. Bateman's gonna have a win over to Wilkish. Looking to hold this down. But surrounded by players from OKST. Ty in the back's gonna have a flank. A 3-on-3 on the inside. Royal, big kill around the back. Wilkish inside the hill is going to lock down 2 in a row. Freeze, last live in the back. They know he's here, Jesse. It's just 1 more kill to solidify this. Ty's coming around for another flank. Can they stay alive for longer? Crayons inside the hill is going to find the break. Finds 2 on a Royal. Now last live's going to be Jinja. They don't expect it there. Scrap time to Oklahoma State. They can't win it here. But Jesse, they can get a few points away from winning it.
Oh, this is scrap time. You can't even afford to give up if you're Iowa, and that's why you see them all flying forward, putting so much pressure on this, and that's a big 4-man kill feed. Not only do you get scrap time, but look at the rotation anew. You've got a full setup here for Iowa. It needs to be perfect COD from this point on if you want to make a comeback here.
You can't even allow 20 seconds, Jesse. You're down by almost 100 points. Iowa Esports, they need to put down their foot now. Ty, 83 HP, looking to lock down the spawns in the back, although spots out Jinja, huge kill. He's going to expect the rest of them. No, can he stay alive? 76 HP. You're getting a pinch here from Oklahoma State. Freeze is going to take down Royal up top. Now everything looking towards the backside of Church. As the last little bit of Oklahoma State, the last couple players, Jesse looking to trickle on in. Crayons is going to find Dakota. It's still in the back for the respawns. The rest of Oklahoma, but Crayons, Ty, huge kills on the inside. They're doing it. They're holding on.
So Oklahoma State can no longer win here on this hill. So I would imagine we start to see a rotation come through from these guys very shortly here. But it looks like they want to take one more shot at trying to break their way in. They will. They'll get the back 10 seconds, and they've got the rotation over towards New. Iowa, I said it before. I say it even more so now. It needs to be perfect. They'll have one opportunity at a break into Command Center.
Just one chance, and Ty's going to keep it alive. Needs to get into the hill. 8 seconds left. 3 go down. It's all up to Freeze. Can he even touch in time with Wilkish taking him down? That's going to be game, Jesse, in Oklahoma State. What a wonderful lead for Iowa Esports right off the rip in the first hard point, Jesse. But as soon as Oklahoma State got a whiff of success, it was their game and their game going forward.
Yeah, I just don't think Iowa took a big enough advantage of Oklahoma's cold start that they came out with. Oklahoma did not come out as hot as I think that we were expecting them to, coming off the back of a win versus Mississippi State University. But they come out, they don't play exactly to how they need to. And I mean, Iowa, they looked great off the start. They got 30 seconds of time on P1, flipped the spawns out. Things were looking great, but then they just pushed a little too far forward. It allowed Oklahoma to at least contest 30 seconds on that time. And I mean, those 30 seconds really could have been a difference maker in the back half of this game. And it just doesn't end up being like that. And honestly, Colin, I go back to the glide bomb as well on P3 on that Fountain Hill. I mean, they invested that so early. Not a ton of follow-up. It really didn't amount to much. And honestly, I feel like that's where Oklahoma started to make the comeback as well. And you didn't have a glide bomb at any point later on in the game when you needed a break.
Well, I mean, Jesse, you kind of, right off the rip, you get, what, a 70-point lead for Iowa Esports. You're feeling good. Maybe you're feeling a little too good. And then you take one step forward, it doesn't work in your position, and all of a sudden your whole world gets turned around and you just don't know what to do. And in that moment, Oklahoma State, they have that chance to restabilize. And as soon as they do, they just look so composed and so controlled on every single rotation. And now what does that spell? Well, it's Iowa Esports, their chances of making it through, gone. Oklahoma Esports, they find their first map win, or at least right now, I mean, they're giving Mississippi State that chance to make it into the bracket play. But right now, if you're Iowa State looking forward, you're trying to deny Oklahoma State of making it in. You're just trying to make sure you can, I guess, punish like Oklahoma State in the situation. I don't know what word to use for this, but they don't have the means to make it through anymore.
So I think if Iowa wins out on this, I believe they should still be able to take third place, which would be a top 48 over a top 64 where Oklahoma would then finish. But that's all a little bit mixy. I don't know 100% on that. But what I do know 100% on is Iowa at this point now, because they have been officially eliminated, now looking to just try to play spoiler. Mississippi State, I'm sure all the players are watching this matchup right now, holding their breaths, trying to just hope for the love of God that Iowa does not lose another map, because all Oklahoma State needs to do at this point on, you win one more map, you guarantee yourself a shot at being inside of that 16-team bracket on the western side. I mean, it's going to be a gauntlet, but at least you got to that 16-team bracket, and once you get there, who knows what's going to happen inside of that.
Yeah, you know that Ottawa, they're just sitting back. They're just like, yeah, they're like, yeah, this is definitely fun to watch. All the chaos going through, well, we're already inside that bracket play. In Mississippi State, they're just like, guys, it's possible. We got this. It's doable. It's not over yet, Jesse. But coming up next, if Iowa Esports, they want to make this happen and they want to go out with a bang and hold their heads up high, we got a Desert Siege Search and Destroy. And when we go back to our first series of the day between FSU Esports and Utica, the first blood game was crucial for for both sides of the field. And it was really what led the success of each team, you know, to make it to the round 11. You saw in the second half when Utica started to pick up the pace in the first bloods. They started finding success. They pushed it to the distance. It's going to be a key thing between these two teams. First bloods are going to be crucial. And after what we saw in that hard point, both teams have what it takes to make it happen.
Yeah, first bloods absolutely will be crucial. Like you said, I also think that mid-map control, that university control, that battle of the submachine guns that goes on there will be absolutely massive coming into this one. We're already into the first round. You already get a kill on the board as well. So Oklahoma State on offense, that's a great way to start things off. You get the first blood. You get a little bit of map control, but actually Crayons will take that map control and the first blood advantage completely away. We're in a 3-3 tie, and that bomb is in nobody's hand of Oklahoma State's at the moment.
Oh, that bomb is in no man's land at the moment. But Dakota's going to cross it pretty easily, so picks up the bomb, recovers it, 3-on-3. It looks like they want to get this bomb down at B. And what they don't know
this
is
is an interesting plant.
Ty is all the way out inside the dunes. Will get eyes on Royal. Bomb goes down. Crayons not going to punish it. Oh, no. He's going to go for it, Jesse. I love this call. Jinja should be able to get eyes on. Dakota goes for the double check. Oh, he's going to be like, no way. Woo! I thought he was going to look away at the last second. But Crayons gets picked off that bomb. Now 29 seconds to make this retake happen, Jesse. And you're down to 2 players if you're Iowa Esports. So you have to pick away at the numbers of Oklahoma State. Now 19 seconds. The time clock is burning. Bateman's going to be in there with the pistols. Going to take down Dakota. Royal for the trade, leaving Bateman now last alive. Makes it a 1v1, but is there time? 10 seconds left. Royal posted up with the automaton. Will be able to pick off that last player. And Oklahoma Esports take round 1.
There's a lot inside of that round to kind of digest. When you look at the start of that round, like, things are looking great because you get the first blood for Oklahoma State. Then you get a big trade back, and you're thinking, oh, Iowa should have this. They've got so much control. But Ty takes the bomb, or sorry, not Ty. I can't remember who it was on Oklahoma who ended up planting the bomb there. It was Dakota, who pushes up, puts the bomb down today. That was a very, very crazy bomb plant. Had no support from any teammates at that time. Gets out with their life. And then are able to make multiple challenges on the Iowa players because the players were not watching over their player trying to defuse. I mean, a very broken round from both sides. But off the start of this round, you will get a first blood onto the offense once again here. And that should open things up to the B site now for Iowa to try to put a bomb down. Very similar to what you saw in the last round from Oklahoma State.
But look at the response, Jesse, from that first blood. You see player number 2, Dakota, looking to get aggressive. Overthrows the A site. Will be able to take down Bateman. Traded from Crayons. Jinja's going to make it a 1v1. As the trades just ring out back and forth. It's pure pandemonium. Inside of Desert Siege, Jinja versus Crayons. And I love this call from Crayons. He has slipped through enemy lines undetected. Jinja has no idea. Unfortunately, Crayons is going to go one step too far. I'm surprised they haven't seen each other just yet. Jinja, no idea he's back there. Still focused on that B site. But Crayons knows what he needs to do. He needs to get this bomb, Jesse, and he is getting the perfect timing to make it happen. Oh, no, Jinja's going to spot him out. Now it's only going to be up to the kills. Bateman, all right, Crayons not ready for that player to challenge it. And Jinja plays it patiently, catches some good timings on both sides, and Oklahoma State up 2-0.
Yeah, it's one of those funny moments where both players kind of win individual one-on-ones on opposite sides of the map. So they could not have been further from each other to start that 1v1 off, so nobody had any information outside of the player's last position, and both players kind of meet at a central point where they thought that, hey, you know what, we might be able to spot over each other. Well, they never spot each other out inside of that 1v1 at any point in time until Jinja catches a very good timing at the very end and is able to win the round out for their team. Now Oklahoma State back on their offense. It looks like they want to get really aggressive over towards a 4-man stack over here. But this could open a lot of flank potential from the Iowa players. Look at player 7.
Look at Crayons, how fast he just pushes up the aggression on defense. Can he stay alive, though, in this position? It's like a sinking ship at this point, and he's just staying alive to allow player number 7, Ty, to get this flank underway, Jesse. And Ty is in such a position where he could shut this whole round down, jumps up top, and oh no, Royal punishes the flank, and that has completely opened things up for Oklahoma State to really take this round.
Well, that's a 3rd round in a row now where Iowa's got a great chance to take a stranglehold on the round, and they don't do so. Ty not able to find any kills on the flank there. Now the bomb's getting rotated out over towards B. This might actually end up working out okay for Iowa because you still have a lot of presence and a lot of positioning inside of University. They'll find the first, but the bomb now starting to go down over at the B site, and Royal's got a perfect overwatch on that top window.
That's the big question. Will they expect Royal to be deep in the dunes? I mean, with the bomb down at B, you have to expect someone back here. When you take down Royal, you know that player number 1, Wilkish, with that submachine gun, is definitely going to be looking to close that distance. So Bateman gets the early eyes, but oh my word, Royal spits on him, and he gets a second one too. This guy's a turret. What are those shots?
Wow. This is Oklahoma State coming out and basically saying, Colin, you know what, map 1, a little shaky from us, not our best work, but we want to take our spot in that bracket play, and we are going to do everything we can to do so, even if it's going to take Royal putting the whole team on his back, taking massive shots down range like that. Now on a 4 spree, Royal is playing fantastic Call of Duty right now. He's shooting so straight, looking to find 3 more, maybe even inside of this round. find those streaks, go up 2-0, completely destroy Mississippi State's chances at making it into bracket play here. Royal will be the first player to be able to push up into middle of the map, and he's just going to sit on the B site and hope that one of these Iowa players gets too aggressive with the bomb.
First bloods, Jesse, inside of this game have amounted to absolutely nothing, because Iowa Esports have been finding them again and again, down 3-0. They need to start icing up in these late game plays that they keep on making. So many one-on-ones could go either way. Dakota's going to cook a nade. Freeze on the opposite end. He will be able to miss it, I guess. I don't know how that didn't hit Freeze, but they're going to take this bomb over to B, and Royals posted up.
Right into Royals' hands. Freeze will get aggressive here.
Oh.
Looks like he just wants a shoulder first. He had to have spotted him out there. Will still push up to try to take the chow and wins it out. But Jinja's right there for the trade at the very least. I don't know how you win that gunfight if you're to freeze in that spot. But this just might open up an opportunity now for Iowa to close this round out, as they've been able to at least get one player off of the site. Now bomb should go down, and Jinja does not have an angle on the player planting.
Nobody knows it's going to be going down. 3v2, Jinja. We're going to pick up Bateman on the inside, but Bateman needs to play his life here. While Dakota on the outside looking to make a rotation around, but Bateman finds not just the player up front, but turns around and reads the flank from Dakota. And he's going to be putting Iowa on the board inside of the search and destroy, Jesse. I thought that was going to get so ugly with where Royal was, but such a crucial kill coming out from Freeze.
Yeah, Freeze basically just won them the round there by at least getting Royal out of that powerful position. I don't know why Royal in that spot isn't using a submachine gun either. They choose to use the AR. I mean, I know we've seen them beaming with the AR in the round before, but inside of that round in that position, I feel like a submachine gun may have been the better choice of gun, and I think that's why you saw Freeze come out on top. Speaking of coming out on top, Royal again, automaton in hand, first blood, drops Iowa. And now Iowa, I mean, it does not look like they have a ton of map control right now. Player 8 and 7 basically in the exact same spot, deep into the sand dunes.
Pulling hands. They got hands in each other's pockets, Jesse. Just to find a first blood at a distance, though. Jinjo, man, he has to be playing like Illy. Face up front into his monitor to see that, but won't be him finding first blood. It's going to be Royal opening things up. Bateman for the trade. 3v2. You're going to need some big things here out of these two players. Freeze is in enemy territory. He's now alone and afraid, Jesse, in a 1v3. Big place to be out here. Bomb is down, so you're going to have to do this whole 1v3 with the time for the defuse. Unfortunately, though, just not able to find anything to give him that advantage, Jesse. And Oklahoma State have looked so good in the search and destroy. So composed, so clutch, and very disciplined.
Yeah, neither one of these teams particularly great search and destroy teams in terms of tier 1 competition. You had Iowa, who finished 5-9. You had Oklahoma State, who finished 2-7. But Oklahoma State, they've got the upper hand right now inside of this map. But we know on a map like Desert Siege, we've seen it in the series earlier on today, where even a 4-1 lead cannot be secure on a map like this. There are so many opportunities to be able to make your way back in. You just got to start rattling off a few rounds, one after another. That's your opportunity to bring yourself back in. Looks like Freeze wants to get aggressive in towards bottom of the university. Actually, just going to break the doors open and now try to start to work a plant over towards the B site.
Here to make it happen towards B. Big nade onto Jinja in the back. Freeze. What a lineup. And in return, he is going to be gifted this bomb down, Jesse. Now, post plant set up for Iowa that can be pretty much perfect because you have no pressure from Oklahoma State. Dakota is going to have to win out on this gunfight, and they're on the outside, and suddenly that's shaking things up.
Wilkish has a sniper as well in this spot. This can definitely get spicy. They at least get Dakota on the flank. So now it's pretty much just a one-prong attack. You need to fight this from the front, and it looks like Royal's trying to find some shots down in the sand dunes.
And Bateman's already all the way up top University. He's going to get eyes on Wilkish. Freeze going to close this out, leaving Royal last alive with 15 seconds. What is that? Okay. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Man, you know, the amount of montages I've seen in Black Ops 2 of that happening, Jesse, I thought we were going to get that here.
I was about to scream at the top of my lungs, Colin. If he worked his way through, just snuck up behind Freeze, laid down, and defused that bomb, I would have lost my damn mind. But they don't get it done. Iowa takes a second round, and that's all they need to do, right, Colin? They need to just win out on these 1v1s. Get yourself into a good situation and towards the later portions of these rounds where you have a big man advantage and it's practically impossible to lose. It's all they need to do right now. I say it's all they need to do. It's way easier said than
It
done.
is.
But on this round here, they take mid-map control completely away from Oklahoma State. I think right now, if I'm them, I think you just kind of sit back here. You don't push up too far. Make Oklahoma State come to you with the bomb.
Jesse, my heart is still pumping from what Royal tried to do. Like, the
Royal's
cojones
got
on the
12
man.
HP.
Cojones on the man for not only doing that in a match setting, but in a playoff match setting. 12 HP, staying alive, chance to go again over towards A. Still 4-4, Jesse. 46 seconds. Not a lot of time to pivot over to this B side. And now Crayons is going to take down Wilkish. That bomb goes down at A. And Oklahoma State, they have completely been shut out of this round. You're going to need heroics out of Royal and Jinja just to make this happen. And Bateman's going to spot out Jinja on the rotation. Will be traded out, leaving last alive Royal to be overwhelmed by Iowa Esports and keep on closing this lead. Now down by 1.
I love that round from Iowa. They did exactly what they needed to do. They pushed up. You've gotten very passive rounds out of Oklahoma on a lot of their offenses. So what does Iowa do? They play a more passive round. Once they get to mid-map, once they take that control away, they just don't push forward. They don't overextend. And Oklahoma then is kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because they need to push up. They need to get this bomb down, but they don't have the time to do so or to work a plant how they want to. And it opens up all the room in the world for Iowa to just pick them off as they try to push towards the bomb one at a time. Now in a more aggressive offense coming through from Iowa, they'll get first blood with the nade. Bomb should be able to go down at A, and they've got a pretty good looking setup here if I do say so myself.
We're going to even up this search and destroy, Jesse. Big kill on the Royal. 2v4 with the bomb down. Wilkish. Oh, you need to finish your food. Freeze gets out with his life, and that's going to be information now for Iowa Esports to close things out. You see the flank's going to be coming through. Wilkish will be able to finally get the kill onto Freeze, but side by side from Bateman. Jinja last alive in a 1v3 to take this team to map point. Spots out tie. Shots are there. Won't be able to finish the kill, Jesse. And you can see the players on Iowa Esports looking to collapse on him and hunt him down, but Jinja's just not going down without a fight. 13 seconds left. It's going to have to be something magical, Jesse, to find a round win because the time is going out of his hands. And now Iowa Esports have completely brought this search and destroy back, Jesse. It's something about Desert Siege and comebacks.
Oh, man.
It has been the story of our map 2s tonight.
Yeah, what has Desert Siege been tonight here for us? Crazy, crazy rounds out of all of the teams competing here tonight. And what did I say after it was a 4-1 lead? I said, hey, you know what? Don't count Iowa out of this one yet. They got the better record in Tier 1 competition. They absolutely have an opportunity to come back here, and they've just been doing a much better job in these rounds of taking the map control away from Oklahoma State, doing exactly what they want on the map, and just kind of just limiting what Oklahoma State can really do and putting themselves just in better positions to win these rounds out. Things you absolutely love to see. And look, this time through on offense, it's forcing Oklahoma to get way more aggressive.
Oh, Freeze. Oh, Freeze. Oh, if he came away with one, that would have been everything. But time for the trade to keep it in a 3v3. Full university control for Oklahoma State, Jesse. And how do they get out of this? You can look at every single arrow on Iowa is panned on University. So I thought Wilkish would get eyes on Crayons below, but feeding information to the rest of the team. They're looking for an opportunity back into this Bateman fishing with this sniper rifle. Next kill is going to be a huge one. Look at them fly. Crayons welcoming them with open arms. It's going to be 2 lines up, leaving Wilkish now alone. And Iowa on that heroic run back into the search and destroy. Jesse just 1 kill away from going on to map point to even up this series. They just need 1 kill onto Wilkish to make this happen. And you see where that bomb down. Wilkish is going to have to go on some SEAL Team 6-esque mission just to get this one through. We'll be able to find a kill onto Crayons. Gets back into University alive. But 20 seconds left, Jesse. I mean, if Iowa Esports let this go, it'd be a complete blunder.
Wilkish just staying alive up top. He does not have enough time to get this bomb and get it down, so needs to go for the kills, and I'm sure they know that at that point. You can see Bateman just completely backs up, knows there's absolutely no point of trying to take that fight. Could only lead to bad there. And now Iowa Esports from down 4-1, rattle off 4 rounds in a row. Take the series, the map lead, I should say, 5-4. And oh man, the amount of emotions that Mississippi State University must be going through right now watching this map. The fact that they were down 4-1 pretty much themselves, hoping that Iowa could bring it back, and Iowa absolutely has brought this one back. Cannot afford to lose another map, otherwise Mississippi State University will be out of the bracket play.
Oh, Ty gets caught with a nade in hand, and this is a great way to bounce back if you're Oklahoma State. You put your foot down, you find 2 opening kills. Looking for a third, it's going to be Bateman, caught by Royal. In the blink of an eye, Jesse, it feels like this round just started. It's already over. Oklahoma Esports, they're going to send us to a round of 11 in the blink of an eye.
So what Iowa did really well in those 4 straight rounds that they won was they were just taking advantage of the overall aggression from Oklahoma State University, just making them come to them. That round through, felt like Oklahoma did the exact same thing to Iowa, was completely ready for that hit over towards the A side of the map. And as soon as Iowa tried to make the push over there, completely shut it down. And Oklahoma State, they have to be feeling like they're in the advantage right now. You just completely stuffed out a hit over at A. Iowa has to go on offense once again here. And if I'm Iowa, I don't go anywhere near that A side after how that last round just went. So Oklahoma State should have an idea of that.
Big first blood on Bateman. Again, here for Oklahoma State. They're going to look to take control of University, Jesse. Instead, they're not putting all their stocks into that. They're completely separated on both sides, as well as inside of the middle of the map. Freeze going to have to make a play. Spots that the player down low. Going to be okay with that information. Iowa Esports, they're just looking for a way back into this round. A kill, no bomb plant, map control, whatever they can get. They just need something soon. With 46 seconds left, Jesse, this clock is burning, and Iowa Esports are really, really thinning the line of things they can do.
Yeah, Bateman, their best player, goes down early on and just feels like they don't really know what they want to do with the bomb at this point in time. Freeze pushes up on the site, but he's just kind of in a bad spot here. Ty with a massive kill, though. Off the top of Wilkish coming in from behind. Will surely find the trade, and now it's going to be Ty all alone 1v3.
Nobody to watch the back. Ty pressured out from both angles as a player in their spawn in Oklahoma Esports. You lose out on numerous rounds in a row, but you're going to get the job done, Jesse, and they just punched their ticket into the playoffs. A win in map 2 makes them 2-0 up. Royal goes big 15-6 to say all. And what a search and destroy. Desert Siege has been nothing but a treat to the two of us tonight. As we get 2 round 11s clutched up by the team that has been getting completely pinned towards the later ends. And just take a look at the stats. It says it's all, Jesse. I mean, Royal 15-6. You just cannot not talk about it. It was going so big for the team.
I mean, the only player positive on the team. I mean, Wilkish is 6-6, but I don't. You got to be one over positive to count as positive on my chart. But like, damn, look at even the damage. I mean, you add any 2 of his teammates together, and he's got more damage than them combined inside of that game. Royal absolutely putting the team on his back. We saw the shots in the middle of that game with the automaton in hand. They found multiple streaks throughout the game. I believe their biggest was a 4 at the end, but I think he went on multiple 4 sprees throughout that. Averaged 1.3 kills around. Crazy, crazy stuff coming out of Royal inside of that game. And honestly, if he doesn't have that performance, Iowa does not lose that map. I can guarantee you that.
And Jess, yeah, that is 2 Desert Sieges where you're looking at Iowa and Utica heartbroken at losing it. I mean, you really have to tip your hat to both teams. The way that they're able to bring it back, force it into a round 11. I mean, Iowa gets to match point first, but they just can't close it out. I think realistically, when you're looking at it, it's just they tried something new towards the later end, and they stopped doing what was so successful to them. They try to fight fire with fire, and they get doused by Oklahoma Esports.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma just made a big adjustment, honestly, after losing those 4 rounds. They stopped getting overly aggressive. They kind of just pushed up, held their line, and never really had to kind of force themselves into bad situations like they were doing in those 4 rounds. I don't know if that was necessarily Iowa playing great or Oklahoma maybe getting a little bit ahead of themselves as well inside of those 4 rounds that Iowa won. But nonetheless, it made for a very, very exciting map for us two to be able to cast. Oklahoma, they just barely closed that one out. But like you called, and if you were paying attention to all the implications before, Mississippi State University, they needed Oklahoma to not win 2 maps inside of this series to have a shot at being able to make it into the bracket play. Now that Oklahoma State wins those 2 maps, they won the match earlier against Mississippi State University, and they have now officially punched their ticket into bracket play. They'll be the 2 seed because nobody's taking the number 1 seed away from Ottawa here inside of West Group A.
Oh, Jesse, chat's sitting there, and they're like, that's what you're here for. You're here to tell us what those implications are now laid out for. And we have Oklahoma State 2-0 up. They are going to solidify those implications, folks. And now it's time to relax for you guys as viewers. As we head to a break, we're going to set up this Gava 2 control coming up next. Oklahoma Esports looking to 3-0 sweep, but it's Iowa Esports looking to go out with a bang and get a reverse sweep to close out their season. But like I said, quick little break. We'll be back. Gava 2 control up next. We are back, folks, with the playoff group over in the Western Group A. My name is Seymour. Alongside me is Cruisin', and Jesse. Today has gone by so quickly. I mean, a 3-0 to open us up in our first match, and a 2-0 already from OKST, and they are not looking like they are slowing down. We got a Gava 2 control coming up next, and yeah, we got a close game back inside that map number 2, but map 1, OKST, they look so good once they started to get going, and if they can hit that form again, I mean, this control in Gava 2, it can get ugly.
I mean, map 1 was pretty close as well. I think you had large swings for both sides, but the overall outcome ended up looking like a close map. And then obviously that map 2, we saw how crazy that was at the very end of it. It goes all the way to the round 11 before Oklahoma State University was able to close it out. But yeah, like you said, we go to Gava 2 next. We already have all the implications tied up. We know where everybody in the group is going to finish. So now for Oklahoma State, it's all about just trying to finish this off with a 3-0 victory and take that momentum, roll it into bracket play, because you guys have already made it. You guys have done exactly what you came out here to do today. Now just finish the series off with a 3-0. Go home with a bang. Don't go home, actually. You're going to bracket play. You're not going home yet, but you want to finish the series off with a bang for sure.
Well, after this game, I'm sure they want to go home, Jesse. It's been a long day. Two games to go through. You are sweating just trying to make it into bracket play, and right now they've got the job done. Now it's time to tie up some loose ends. Right now, if you're Oklahoma State Esports, you're really trying to clean this up in a convincing manner. You know, you got Ottawa Braves up inside the first place spot inside of your group. Now looking to go away in second place is Oklahoma State, and you want to go into the bracket play with the most confidence you can. And I think a 3-0 win against Iowa Esports, cementing yourself in that number 2 spot, is the most convincing way you can do it.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing that they got to think about too, right? Because you guys might be wondering like why we're putting so much emphasis on them wanting to finish this off with a bang. Well, look at the other teams that are already guaranteed to be coming out of the Western Division. I mean, West Group B, you've already got St. Edwards locked in. You've already got Westcliff locked in. Those are Titans. Akron Zips 3-0 inside of West Group C. They should make it. I mean, the Buckeyes are coming out. Colorado Boulder's looking like they might be in for a decent chance. Texas State's disgusting. Arizona State, like, it is a gauntlet, this Western Division. So they want to have every shot in the world to be able to make it out of this. You already have. But yeah, any momentum you can bring to go up against any of the 16 teams that are making it out of this group play is just going to, anything can help you at this point.
And what do we say again and again, Jesse? The West Group, it's the group of hell. At least the whole division is. You can see all the rip Iowa Esports starting on the defense, Oklahoma State on offense. We're going to make their way over to B. So far, so good. It's 3 down for Iowa, so a chance now to hop on the zone. You got Freeze looking to shut this one down around the outside of ring. We'll be able to spot out in the first, but it's Royal again, coming off that hot 15-6 search and destroy. He's going to be able to hop onto this B zone.
This man can do no wrong right now. Gets the full regen of health as well. We'll get challenged here by Crayons. But we'll take down Freeze anyways. Oh, if he took down Crayons, I would have lost my mind. Will finally end up falling. But with him putting such a big distraction over at B, it allows for all the players on Oklahoma State to get onto A and now start to get this zone completely finished off here.
Zone looking to get cleaned up. Last chance to get in. Bateman for the contest. Tie up top. And look, Freezer on the outside is actually going to be able to shut it down, Jesse, before that third tick gets cemented. So the time clock's still going to be burning 53 seconds. You're looking to neutralize A now for that third tick of aggression as Crayons surges on forward to try to cut off some of these respawns. But Oklahoma State, they're not going to get pinned. They're going to work their way out, and that third tick has not been digressed whatsoever.
No, it hasn't, and it's going to give an opportunity now for Oklahoma State to be able to hop on in, close the round out. Royal will find 1. Royal will find 2 inside the hill, and this should be the A zone done. And while he's doing that, the other players on Oklahoma State wrap completely over to B. They already get a tick of progress there as well, and you've got Royal coming on the flank. This could not be a comfortable position.
The big nade from Crayons is going to relinquish the pressure to B, Jesse, and Freeze through the middle of the map, cuts it down Royal. So Iowa Esports, they stabilize off of losing that A zone. Now a minute 17 as Dakota looking to get in a cheeky angle, see if he can spot out the player on the inside of that B zone. But nobody on Iowa is pushing up aggressively, Jesse. They are bunkering now in their own spawn and just trying to hold off the next wave before taking map control.
I feel like it's the right play here, though, because you just kind of sit back, you wait, and then once they push you, that's when you push forward, and you can push up and take a lot of position away because of just how far the offensive side of the map spawns away. Now that they've got a 3 down, make that 4 down. Now is when you fly forward if you're Iowa.
Here they go, indeed. Taking control of rings, going to be Crayons and Ty. As you can see, Oklahoma Esports, they realize their mistake, and now seeing if they can pull the rug out underneath Iowa from the backside of Antenna. Sakata runs it down mid. He's going to catch Bateman through their own spawn. Now you see Ty pivot behind. We'll look at this information. Actually stunned up. Jinja going to put a nade on the doorstep, though. Ty avoids it. Now looking to go toe-to-toe. He actually dances with Jinja, and he's leading the whole time. Jesse Royal's going to be the last live on the inside. Cleaned up from Iowa Esports. Says, yes, they lose out on the A zone so early. But the B zone has been nothing but Iowa Esports control since that first tick gets collected. With 1 second left, Jinja's the only one close. He's not going to touch, and that's going to be a defensive round the way of Iowa Esports.
I tell you what, if they don't get that 2-person grenade inside of the middle of the tank there, totally they right. Probably don't win that round out. But they get that big nade, they clean up Royal, who was really getting hungry on the flank. And what that just allowed is it allowed Iowa to get that full stabilization, like you called out so beautifully, inside of that round, Colin. And as soon as that stabilization came in, it just felt like Oklahoma had absolutely nothing left in the tank to be able to push forward there. And it's exactly how you need to start that round off if you're Iowa. Because let's be honest here, they don't want to go out. They don't want to finish their CCL season with a 3-0 and an 0-3 inside of the group play. They want to take every fight and every opportunity they can here inside of this series.
It is not over until they say it's over, Jesse. As you can see, they will be able to break out from that early spawn trap. But Jinja, the exact nade that Crayons had for himself, is going to be returned same way back over towards the cliff side. Still breaking out towards the A zone, though, will be Iowa Esports into the zone to collect the progression. Crayons will be looking to keep this one going. Royal gets dropped as well, and Crayons just seems to be doing it all for the team. 11-9 inside of this control, Jesse, and he has been such a crucial player.
Really has been, and now Oklahoma State want to fly forward. They want to pin these Iowa players in the back of their spawns. Player 7 really the only player who's pushed forward. He'll give away his position as well. But at the very least, Ty was able to get one and just not allow Oklahoma to stay pushed up as far as they were. But you still just have zero positioning on the map right now if you're Iowa, and you continue to get pigged out one at a time. I think it's really going to be up to Crayons here. Makes a big overextension over towards B. Should be able to stop the clock here and maybe turn a couple of these yellow arrows around.
Oklahoma State's defense has been commanding, to say the least, Jesse. The map control that they have just completely shutting out Iowa from every angle. And over towards B, you're looking at a last-ditch effort from Crayons to just try to pull away some of the attention of Oklahoma State over towards that zone. And it seems successful because it will be a 3-on-1 inside of the ship. Royal looking to stay alive, picked off from Ty. Now a chance for Iowa to resurge into this round.
They do clean up over towards that B zone, though. Now Jinja coming in from behind will end up falling. That will be the second ticket progression coming through, but Oklahoma's setting up for a massive pinch to shut this down before a third ticket progression.
Jesse, this third ticket progression is going to completely even up this control. Into the hill is going to be the contestation out of Jinja, but he drops, and that will be the A site cemented. So we slap another minute onto the clock, and even more than that, Iowa Esports, they have a life advantage. So with a minute 9 inside of the time bank, you can look to go a little bit of team deathmatch.
Yeah, just need to play off of each other here, right? Just don't overextend too far without your teammates' help in this situation. You can see players 6 and 7 are setting up for a little bit of a flank play here. Ty will find one. And now it's all about just picking off these Oklahoma State players one at a time and just playing TDM at this point in the game.
Crayons gets caught on the rotation. 5 players left for OKST to clutch up this round. Ty still on the flank, Jesse. 8 in a row. He's going to have that glide bomb now, looking to pin Oklahoma State in a position where they just cannot resurface into the round. However, they find their way back. Jinja has control of ring. And even though Iowa Esports, they have that life lead, they have to be cautious of the time left. 30 seconds, Jesse, remaining.
This is definitely still doable here for Oklahoma State. They're going to call the glide bomb in to secure the round out. Only one player left now. Jinja inside a top ring will find two, though. I thought Jinja was about to 1v6. I would have lost my mind. But Iowa State, they'll be able to come out, be able to take the ground, and go up 2-0 here inside of the map.
No, I don't mind that Shriek usage. Yeah, you do have a heavy advantage towards the end of the round, but without map control, Jesse, with the time against you, just cementing the round at that point with that kill streak, going up 2-0 over OKST, it got its use. And now Iowa Esports, they're looking to push us to a map 4 in Gavatu with one more win. On defense, Freeze taking the fight to the front lines, gonna find Jinja, Dakota for the trade. Bateman keeping the numbers going, and Freeze puts this to a halt. 3 go down, leaving Royal last alive in the ring. They don't know he's here, but how much damage can he do? God. Absolutely nothing. Holy smokes, Freeze.
Freeze not only gets one there, but then gets a second on 8 HP, then gets the third as well. Just massive kills over on the ring portion of the map for Freeze off the start of this round. Now on 3 in a row, maybe even looking to find some streaks of their own. Now 4 in a row, really starting to think about looking for some streaks. Will finally end up falling off the start, but that's a great start to the round here for Iowa. You basically completely slow down all of Oklahoma off the rip of this game. And now you just need to keep flying forward, need to keep pinning them in the back. But Oklahoma will find a few kills, and now actually looking to start to work the way, not only on just onto A, but also onto the B zone as well.
Won't be a tough road back into the control for OKST, but series hasn't been the easiest for them to take the 2-0 advantage in the series. So they know 3-0 would have to be momentous at this point. Big kill from Jinja. Gonna be up to Freeze to close out on the rest of this. Hops on down for the contention. Only good for one, as you can see, Royal and Wilkish holding out for the capture of A. And go minute 30 now into that time bank.
And it looks like they're just going to try to push out through the green side of the map. All 4 players getting really aggressive here, but Ty goes massive for 2 and stays alive as well. So can probably find some more here with the right timing. Does look like he'll get cleaned up by Jinja, though. But, I mean, if you're Oklahoma State, you're coming off spawn. Look at where player number 6 is. Crayons is still pushed so far forward. He's going to read every single one of these spawns and just be so annoying for every OKST player in the spawn.
Oh, he is. And Bateman alive long enough to slow down the players of OKST on the front lines, Jesse. Will be able to respawn back with his teammates. In fact, he's going to get a better respawn over towards green. Now has a flank on Dakota. Going to push up into ship and can cause so many problems for these players on OKST scattered around the map. Just not getting anything going, Jesse, throughout this third round. 42 seconds now. A whole minute's been shaved off. You have to be in a little bit of panic if you're Oklahoma State.
Yeah, you really do. Iowa, they do at least stabilize out their back, but this is your opportunity if you're Oklahoma State to be able to get in and get on. But the problem is they just don't have enough numbers here. You only have 2 players. It's only going to be a 2-player push with 2 players coming in from behind. They'll clean up the 2 players on the front line, and now it's just, again, if you're Oklahoma State, you're pretty much just sitting back and waiting for your other players to come off spawn so that you can make a full team push together.
One last chance. Ty on the cross was going to take out player on the inside of the hill. Now 8 seconds left. One wipe from Iowa is going to keep them going inside the series. Jesse, big nade from Crayons again. It's been like that all game long. Crayons a second on the inside. Going to shut the whole thing down. And Freeze shuts the door. Iowa Esports, they say, we're not going down without a fight. Let's go to a map 4.
Iowa does not care that they have already been eliminated. They want to play as much spoiler as possible. And like I said, they want to come into this one. You don't want to go out in your last match in CCL of the 2022 season in a 3-0 fashion in a map where you very easily could have taken this series 3-0 yourself. You gave up a lot of pressure in map 1. You ended up choking out a 2-round lead inside of map number 2 after coming down back from down -4 rounds on yourself. But you know what? You absolutely come out in this Gavutu control and you get the job done. A very, very clean game from them. And honestly, I think it was just round number 1 was a little bit rough for them, but as soon as they were able to clean up and restabilize inside of round number 1, and they never looked back inside of this control.
A 1.75 kill death ratio for Ty inside that control. Such a big performance from himself. Those streaks were crucial in locking down that second round as well, so you can't look away from that. As big map number 3 from Iowa Esports. And you know what, Jesse? A win here on control, it's just exploiting weaknesses of OKST Esports going into this playoff bracket. And for a lot of teams that are going to be watching, maybe the team that Oklahoma State match up against going into that playoff bracket, they're going to look at this and they're going to see these mistakes that are being pushed to the test by Iowa Esports, and it's going to be really good review to get a leg up over this team.
Yeah, it definitely really could be, right? Because that Gavutu control was not very pretty. So maybe it might end up being the Oklahoma auto veto from this point on. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure if they're still in the talks about Berlin control coming in or not, how that's working out 100%. Obviously, we'll have a CCL update on that at some point. Probably before the bracket play would ensue, I would imagine.
There's already been an announcement, Jesse.
Okay, then I must have missed it then. But
it's not in just yet, but from what I understand, it's coming soon. So as soon as that comes into the fray, I assume it's just going to add so much more dynamic to teams who, might favor Tuscan, might not favor Gavutu, but they don't want to go to Gavutu, so it's like a good middleman at that point.
It becomes the Oklahoma State auto veto, I think, at that point, after seeing that last map there. Don't know if they will really want to be going back to Gavutu anytime soon, but guess what? We go there again for map number 4. We go there for the hard point next. I will say one thing, though, about Oklahoma State inside of the first hard point. They looked significantly better on the respawns and on the rotations than what we saw from Iowa inside of that map number 1. I think Iowa was doing a good job of kind of coming back in the later half of that game, but honestly, if Oklahoma can string hills together the way that we saw them stringing hills together inside of Tuscan, I mean, Gavutu should blow a map wide open.
I mean, you were saying to yourself after that Tuscan went the way of Oklahoma State early is that Iowa Esports, they had a good chance at gaining a lead at the start and holding the lead throughout the rest of it. They just allowed Oklahoma State back into it, and realistically, we never saw the same form as we did off the breakout from Iowa Esports. So realistically, going into this Gavutu, it could be the same way the other way around. If you're Iowa Esports and you get a break off as successful as that Tuscan, you could really destabilize Oklahoma State on a map like this that is fundamentally important for the rotations.
Yeah, Gavutu is always a fun map, right? Because you're never truly out of a map on Gavutu, especially on side of the hard point, because you can always just string 2 hills together and bang, 120 seconds could go into your favor. You're right back inside of the map. And we see it happen all the time on this beautiful map, this random island out in the middle of the ocean here. Honestly, one of my favorite maps this year. It's definitely spiced things up. It's one of those maps where when you play it and you watch Hardpoint on it, you just know that every single time you see a rotation come through, it's going to be so important because of how locked down so many of the money hills are here on this map.
Well, here we go, Jesse. It's going to be where Iowa Esports looks to push Oklahoma State to the test. As we hop into Gavutu Hardpoint, folks, map number 4, Oklahoma State. They have solidified their place inside of the playoff bracket, but right now it's time to tie up loose ends, and one way to do it, why not just berate them with grenades?
The trip nade off the start, and Colin, usually we talk about how this P1 hill can turn into a money hill in the second set of rotations when you can get a full setup. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a full setup, a big 3-man nade to start the game off, but Iowa, they're looking to try to storm the beach back.
They are. They don't want to give up on the time too early. Ty's going to be looking for a flank here. Losing out on teammates, you need to strike. And Jinja is just unstoppable off the rip. And with the help of Dakota 3-1, you look at a flawless opening hill from Oklahoma State.
Oh, that was ridiculous. That was a ridiculous start to this game. They're going to be up 50-0 right off the rip, and you can see Iowa has pretty much just chalked that hill. They say, hey, you know what? We need to just get the full rotation now. We need to get a full setup over here at New, but little did they know they've got Royal lurking in the wings, and he'll pop too and really make this setup uncomfortable here for Iowa.
All they know is pain, Jesse. Royal's still alive and thriving. He's going to break the hill from behind with all 3 kills. And now looking over to the towards the cliffside, Iowa Esports looking for a break of their own. They're going to find it by way of Ty. Crayon's going to catch Royal looking the wrong way, and with 2 down, they're going to find their way back into this hill to collect some time, finally into this map number 4, Jesse. But it's how much time can they get, because realistically, if they get the rest of this hill, they're going to be at a tie game. Unfortunately, a nade from Wilkish, and the finish from the MP40 is going to definitely keep time out of the hands of Iowa Esports and Oklahoma State. What a lead off the rip now going into the 2 money hills of P3 and P4.
Yeah, maybe even the three money hills coming up next, right? Because docks you can still find a ton of time on as well. So this is really where this game can get scary here if you're Iowa. Not only are you down 44 points, but heading over towards West Beach, Oklahoma State will be the first team here, the first team set up. You might recognize this same spot. It's exactly where the control zone was in the last map. And they are doing a great job of zoning out all these Iowa players. Only one player will find a kill, be able to sneak through. Oh, but they flip the spawns at the very least if you're Iowa here.
74-21, Jesse. Iowa Esports, they have the spawns, and there's the nade from Freeze to take out Royal from the hill, but scrappy at the most, and that's exactly what you want if you're Oklahoma Esports. Look at that, a quick 2 down, and they're going to be right back into it. 30 seconds to collect in hill 3. And Iowa Esports on the back end right now of the rotation, so you not only have to break this hill, Jesse, but you need the rotation, so you can already see Crayon is on the mission.
Yeah, Crayon's making a big heads-up play here, trying to make the push. Little does he know, 2 players are going to come off spawn from Oklahoma State exactly at the radar station where they want to be. And now it's really all up to Ty. Ty needs to go massive on the beach. Will find one. But, I mean, to get these spawns into your favor for Iowa here, it's going to be so tough.
Quick fish right back to where Royal was, and Ty has the same deliver of him, but this time Royal on the flank off that respawn. He's not only going to find Bateman, but Ty as well, cleaning up business over towards the beaches, and Crayons is going to be sniffed out on the front line, so that's going to be all 4 players in Iowa back on the respawn. You can see the heads up positioning of Oklahoma State now surging on forward for middle map control. Just keep on picking away at these numbers of Iowa. Make sure that it's not going to be comfortable for the break. 26 seconds Freeze, last ditch effort to get into this hill. 23 seconds to play for it, but you cannot go for it, Jesse. You need to find some stability over at P5.
You absolutely do. And this is now, if you're Iowa, you just chalk this time. This last 15 seconds is not going to matter in the large scheme of things if you lose these spawns towards next. And look at where player number 5 just spawned. That cannot be a good feeling here for Iowa. Player 5, Wilkish, will just kind of hide in the back line here. Jinja winning that one-on-one will surely give the spawns to the side of Oklahoma State, and they have put a beautiful pinch onto this next hill. And Colin, what did I say coming into this one? If Oklahoma can pin hills together, Iowa's going to be in a lot of trouble, and Oklahoma has pinned every single hill inside of this game together so far.
And they're just bullying their way through, Jesse. They're going to break again over into P5 with only 10 seconds into that hill. And Iowa Esports down a whole 100 points now, Jesse. Oklahoma, they are in the driver's seat to put away the series. Gonna have to need something astronomical. Bateman's at least gonna find one, but tagged down so low, he's not in a position to even challenge the rest of this. And 20 seconds left, you're in another situation where you just have to chalk it.
You can't even afford to chalk it, though. You're going to be at a point where Oklahoma is going to be over 175 points at the end of the first set of rotations. That is absolutely ridiculous. Iowa will end up chalking the remaining time at the Old Hill. Now heading over towards P1. I said coming into this map, you're truly never out of a Gavutu hardpoint. This is where they need to start to make their comeback, though. If they don't start here, that's when I think you will truly be out of a Gavutu hardpoint. So we'll see what they can do. They need a full 60 here on P1.
Jesse, it's the good and the bad of Gavutu is, yes, those fundamentals make it so interesting, but you get games like this, 170-60, a 110-point lead. In comes the break now. Wilkish looking to make it so, but Crayons, a little bit of a fist and a hello and a goodbye. Jinja looking to stay inside this hill, contest as long as he can. Faris is going to catch him out. 25 seconds to collect here for your Iowa Esports. And with a winner's advantage like this, I mean, Oklahoma Esports, they're okay with sending one last effort into the break of scrap time. They can afford to break for 13 seconds.
Yeah, I just don't want to see them get a little bit too ahead of themselves here. They've already lost a little bit of that big lead that they had. It's down to only 100 points now. I say only 100, like that's not a massive lead inside of a hard point. But at the very least, even though they don't hold on to all the time there, they will win the rotation over towards P2. They just need to make sure they don't get away from their fundamentals that they were playing with in the first set of rotations, and don't just get too ahead of themselves. They haven't won the map yet.
Is not over, Jesse, until it's over. We said that in the control, and now Iowa Esports, they know how to make it happen inside of these hard points. Same map. Oklahoma, they look so much more comfortable. Jinja now for the break. He's going to find one on the Bateman. A second onto Freeze. Disgusting shots out of your submachine gun player. 13-12. Not the loudest game, but it is an important game as you're looking at Dakota and Royal, 21-13, 23-17 to put up the big numbers.
And now look at this. Dakota's making another heads-up play here. Gonna try to sneak through the backside. We'll get the spawns in the back for Oklahoma. And now Oklahoma down only 31 seconds to the time. That's all they need to close this game out, and they have a flawless looking setup over at the New Hill.
Big chance now for Iowa to break from the front. The only thing is Oklahoma Esports, they need 20 seconds left to put away the series. Royal inside ring, punishing these players on the rotation. You got the inside of the hill still locked down on Oklahoma, and now 10 seconds remaining. You have the players spawning up in the back, but already pivoted the inside of the hill for Oklahoma Esports, expecting it. Royal up top, gets the info, gets some shots down, doesn't clean it up. It's going to be Jinja to hold things off on the inside of the hill. He finds all three, and Oklahoma Esports a 3-1 to open up this series, close it out, and push on to the playoffs.
Massive, 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 massive game for Oklahoma State. Not only do they close the series out, but 100-point club inside of the final match, 250-81 inside of Gavutu. And honestly, I was a little worried going into that Gavutu, the way that they got handled inside of map number 3, inside of the control. But this time through, it does not matter. Iowa had no answer back. And Oklahoma, who needed to only win 2 maps today, inside of this final game. They came into this group today in the hardest looking spot, down 0-1 with already being 3-0 by Ottawa, but they get the job done. They take out Mississippi, they take out Iowa, they punch their ticket to the CCL playoffs, to the bracket play. Massive, massive implications on the line today, and they come out strong.
CCL to the moon, baby. Playoffs time. It is a fun time, and just look at the way they ended it, Jesse. 24-14 for Dakota, 25-19. I said it's big numbers indeed, and it's what you need to show some convincing maps for Oklahoma Esports going into that playoff side. I mean, to bounce back from a Gavitu control to get 3-0 smoked. But it looks like they're okay on a Gavitu hardpoint, Jesse. 100-point club, 250-81. That's not too shabby, if I do say so myself. That's exactly the way you want to go into playoffs looking.
Yeah, and I mean, the map was flawless as well, Colin. I mean, like, yeah, I was getting a little hard on them towards the end there because they were making a few challenges that I didn't think were totally necessary. But you know what? That's my job. I'm here to critique a little bit here and there. But at the end of the day, I mean, that first set of rotations, to finish it at 175 points is just ridiculous stuff. I thought they may have even had a chance to amass that 200-point mark at the end of the first set of rotations, so that would have been absolutely wild. But yeah, I mean, you can't really ask for much more from the guys here today.
You can't ask for anything more than that. You're right, Jesse, and that's going to push them into that Western playoff bracket, and it just gets harder from here if you're OKST. I mean, we talked about it going into that Gavitu. We said that this is the division of hell inside of the CCL. This is not the division that you're looking to make miracle runs in, because the top-notch teams through that top 25 are going to be residing in this one. Yes, you got Northwood and Bay State over inside of the east side of things, but you still have some pretty big teams over here in the west, and a lot more consistent teams over here in the west to go up against.
Yeah, I feel like when you look at the overall groups, you're like, oh, damn, yeah, you got the 2 big dogs, the 2 big heavy hitters over on the eastern side of the map, like you said, Bay State and Northwood. But honestly, I mean, like, you kind of expect those 2 teams to come through in the East.
Right.
You don't know who's coming through in the West. I mean, SIUE has been fantastic this year. Oklahoma Christian just won their group. They beat Redbird COD. I was not expecting that either. I wasn't expecting them to come out and win that group. Arizona State University won their group. They're fantastic. Texas State, they're not playing Halo anymore. Guess what? They're fully focused on COD now again. That team's going to be dangerous. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with once again. Buckeye COD, very, very good. I mean, the whole Western group is looking insane. And can I just say one more thing? Akron Zips won their group too. Very impressed with those boys. Brogan, you know you're doing a great job, man.
I mean, it's like, you know, the only thing I look at Akron and I say is that the team could be a dark horse going into the playoffs. So
they really could
out
be
for them too. But it sure is the wild, wild west over here inside of the division, Jesse. And I just don't know who's going to walk out. You know Ottawa are going to walk out of that group for sure and go far into it. But behind Ottawa, it could be really anyone. And folks, I mean, behind all these implications of playoffs, you know, it's been a long time coming, but we're thrilled to announce the dates for the in-person finals of the CCL 2022 playoffs. We got Saturday, June 11th and Sunday, June 12th. Information such as travel, lodging, and more will be released in a news article coming soon. But how about that? We got a LAN finally. It has been how many seasons? About 4 seasons of CCL, and we finally get a LAN. I am so stoked, Jesse.
I'm even more stoked, man. I mean, maybe not more stoked than you,
More
but I'm absolutely stoked to finish this one off. I mean, the fact that we're going to see everything inside of this decided in an 8-team LAN to finish things off is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Top 4 from the East, top 4 from the West will battle their way through to see who wins it all. And I believe it's going to be the top 2 teams from winners, the bottom 2 teams from, or I guess the top 2 teams from losers as well, from both sides of the bracket making it through. I'm ecstatic. I cannot wait to see this 8-team LAN.
Can't wait either. And folks, you better keep peeled for that article to get all the information as soon as possible. I assume, in the coming week we will be seeing it, but it's to be determined. Even the two of us don't know. But that's going to be all for tonight, folks. Playoffs will continue next week. Same place, same time. You don't want to miss it.